Well, let's dig further into this. Adnan Zulfiqar is a fellow at the Truman National Security Project, a think tank based in Washington. Adnan, I know you spent time in Turkey recently talking with politicians from the governing party, I think, and from the opposition. What does all this tell us about the politics of the country and its political parties?
I think it says a lot, actually. It says that Turkish democracy is actually thriving. Some of this, although the scenes on TV might be a little disconcerting, what it does show is that, you have people who are expressing their discontent with the current government, and you have a government that is trying to handle how to deal with being a majority government, but learning how to deal with a pluralistic Turkish society and governing for the entire population and not just those who voted for them.
It has shown up some splits, though, hasn't it, in the governing party, even if they're less divided than the opposition. And that could be a problem, couldn't it, for a PM with ambitions to be a president?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the underlying stories here that we really need to watch is what kind of fissures are going to be created within the AKP and to what extent are they going to be able to hold together as we move forward. You've already seen that the president, Abdullah Gül, has come out with much more conciliatory tone, reaching out and suggesting that this is part of democracy, dissent is part of it, and in many respects you have seen some contradictory statements there. You've also seen members of the AKP, former members, former parliament members who have been vocal on places like Twitter and in the newspapers in Turkey saying that Prime Minister Erdogan maybe has been a little too bullish in this particular circumstance. And that's of course going to affect Erdogan's ambitions with regard to being a popularly elected president if the system turns away from the parliamentary system that it is right now.
And Adnan, given that hard line that we've been hearing from the Prime Minister, this offer of a referendum in Istanbul seems quite a concession, but that's not going to be very persuasive for the rest of the country, is it?
No, I think that's true. And in some respects, it is a concession, but in some respects, it's also Erdogan playing sort of a political game. He realizes that when it comes to people voting for him, he can get people to the polls, and for a referendum, we'll probably be able to get out majority support as well. He realizes at the same time that if the people on the streets decide that they don't want to have a referendum here, then they come across as opposing democracy. But I think overall, it's a strategy which may backfire because the reality is that you can't have a referendum every time there is some dispute over urban planning. There actually needs to be a process in place where people feel as though there's a sustained engagement that they have with these type of decisions being made within their city.
Adnan Zulfiqar from the Truman National Security Project. Thank you.